Hi everyone, Amanda Gray here from Say Yes Events. It's good to see you again. I'm coming to you today to talk to you about my 5 wedding guest tips to make sure that you are a good wedding guest. Number 1 is making sure that you respond back to the RSVP by the time frame listed and in the same form. This means that if the bride and the groom send you your invitation via a web link or through an email, that you respond back both of those ways. If they send it to you, good old snail mail with a beautiful invitation, and they send you a little RSVP card with a return stamp, do not just stick it away and think that you'll get back to it. Make sure that you fill that out and you get it back to them as soon as possible. The main reason for this is that brides and grooms spend a lot of money on their guests, and they have to give a final head count to their vendors, and that's usually within a week or two of when the RSVP should be received. There's nothing worse than you thinking that you're going to go, you never send the RSVP, the bride and the groom aren't sure, and you get there on the day and there's not enough food for you, there's not a seat saved for you, there's not even your name's not even on the seating chart. So save yourself that trouble. Also, very importantly, never, ever, ever respond to an RSVP via text message, Twitter, or Facebook. Just don't do it. The bride and the groom are not expecting that. It is really, really poor taste. I'm begging you, unless they specifically say to do it, do not. Just send it in the form it's sent. My second tip is to show up on time. Weddings are notorious for starting late, but they don't start late for you. They start late for the bride and the groom. The worst thing is when a guest shows up and the church doors have been shut and I'm standing on the outside and I have to say, the bride said, do not open the doors for anyone. It's embarrassing for you, and it's really distracting for the bride and the groom. You know, they're standing there trying to say their vows. They're trying to remember this moment between each other, and to have this really creaky old church door open and this guest sneaking around trying to find a seat, it's just embarrassing and distracting. And most of the time, I would say probably 80% of the time, brides just have a closed door policy. If you're not in your seat by the time the bride's walking down the aisle, you don't get to see it. My third tip, number 3, is that the aisle is off limits. Nobody should be, leaning out in the aisle with their cell phone taking a picture. The bride and the groom are paying a photographer anywhere between $2,000 and $6,000 to get the perfect shots of them walking down the aisle. You are not the photographer. You are not allowed to even lean out there for a second. And you people with the iPads, with the flashes, I'm telling you now, put them away. It's so awful to see a bride walking up the aisle and a photographer just shot after shot after shot have these people just leaning in with the really bright cell phone screens just hanging out. So just do not do it. It's off limits. Leave your cell phones in the car for the ceremony and let the bride and the groom have all of those moments captured by the professionals. Tip number 4. Tip number 4 is follow the seating chart. The bride and the groom make seating charts for multiple reasons. The first one is to make sure that family dynamics are evenly spread out. So they're trying to avoid drama. They're trying to set people who maybe don't like each other at a safe distance. They are trying to make other people feel comfortable. Maybe people who don't have a lot of friends are trying to integrate them in with people that they know they will click with. The second reason is if it's a seated dinner, a seated plated dinner, and you RSVP'd for chicken, fish, pork, whatever, the server has a list of all of the tables and all of the seats and which meal goes to which seat. So if you go and play musical chairs with a bunch of people, the servers are going to be trying to serve the food, and the bride and the groom only order the food that people RSVP for. So if you get served fish and you were supposed to be served chicken because you moved a seat and you start eating your fish and the person who ordered chicken says, I don't eat chicken, I only eat fish, there's nothing else to give them. So just don't make it a huge debacle. Sit where you're supposed to sit. It's only for a couple of hours. If you really don't like it, just eat your dinner and get up and mingle. But at the end of the day, it's not about you. So yeah, it's not about you. It's a free dinner. So sit where you're supposed to sit. Tip number 5. Tip number 5 is actually not a tip. It is a rule. Open bar does not mean open bar. I know, surprising. I know a lot of people who get so excited about going to weddings because it's an open bar. But the fact is that the bride and the groom probably have an open bar because they're not sure if someone's going to drink one drink or if they're going to drink 3 drinks. So my rule of thumb as a wedding planner is if you're going to a wedding that is an open bar, 3 drinks max. And then usually the bride and the groom will also do a champagne toast. So we're talking about 4 drinks in what, 4.5 hour period. So, you know, that's pretty good. That's a drink an hour. You know, again, the wedding's not about you. The wedding's about the bride and the groom. So make sure that you're not getting drunk. The worst thing that could happen at a reception is for someone to just get completely toasted and just embarrass the bride and the groom. Start a fight, start crying, create drama. Just don't do it. Just set yourself at a 3 drink maximum and leave it at that. There's no reason to get toasted. You're gonna have to find your way home. So those are my 5 tips. I hope that you take all of them very seriously and that you are able to go to whatever wedding that you're going to and you leave giving the bride and the groom the most respect that you can possibly give them, and that you make sure that their day is memorable, and you take yourself out of the picture, because at the end of the day it's about celebrating them and it's not about your comfort. Really, you know, it doesn't run on your time, it doesn't run, you know, nothing happens for you on their wedding day. So those are my tips. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, at Say Yes Events, and leave a comment below. Let me know what it is that you have a question about, and I will be sure to answer it. Thanks for joining me. Bye.